have sat in this chamber many times and borne witness to the spiralling violence and growing despair in the country. The government, armed and terrorist groups continue to kill, maim, rape, torture, and take Syria to new lows that seemed unimaginable a few years ago.
Welcome back to The World Over. That was Valerie Amos, the UN Under-Secretary General, talking about the spiral of violence in Syria, where Christians and Muslims are fighting for their lives in the face of kidnappings, bombings, and the 4-year-old conflict between the Assad regime and ISIS-backed rebels, as well as other insurgents. My next guest is the Melkite Archbishop of Aleppo, Syria, the leader of a community literally fighting for its life in what is the cradle of Christianity. He's in the United States this week on a mission to raise awareness about his suffering people. Please welcome Archbishop Jean-Clemenent Jeanbart, joining us via satellite from New York City. Archbishop, thank you for being here.
Yeah, man. Thank you for accommodating me.
And now you are encouraging your clergy, your priests, to remain in Syria despite the terrible violence we're watching unfold every day. Why do that, and at what risk are they?
Why do that? Because it is our country. We have been living in this country since the beginning of the history of the new era of Christianism. Our first ancestors were baptized the Pentecost day in Jerusalem while they were in pilgrimage, and they came back in Syria with the new faith, with their faith in Jesus Christ. And we have to remain, to continue, to persevere, to bring witness to the Lord, where the church was born and where millions of martyrs, innocent martyrs for their faith, shed their blood and irrigated this land, this holy land. Syria is a holy land because it has received the blood of millions and millions of martyrs.
Your Excellency,
it is enough reason for us to stay and to remain and to fight to remain.
Your Excellency, a Greek as well as a Syriac Orthodox bishop were kidnapped and they are still missing. It has been 2 years. Do you worry about your own life, that you might be subject to kidnapping, should you return, and when you return?
Of course, we are always preoccupied, and we are afraid that some harm may happen to one of ourselves, us, myself, other colleagues, priests, but we rely on the blessing and protection of the Lord. We do not make harm to anyone. We are people who want peace, who push toward peace, toward dialogue, toward understanding between all factions. We look for a political solution. We call for dialogue. We ask nations to help us find peace by pushing all parties to sit on a table and discuss their problems together and find a way to establish peace and understanding between all citizens in the country.
I want to play something for you. This is President Assad of Syria talking about terrorism, and I wonder if you agree with this analysis. Listen.
As long as many European officials still adulating countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar just for their money and selling their values, and allow the Wahhabi dark ideology to infiltrate and instilled some communities in Europe, we have to expect more attacks in that regard.
Do you agree with that analysis?
I am afraid that part of it is exact, and but I mustn't interfere in politics. I do not want to give an opinion, but it is right that there are interferences, and there are, yes, from Western countries and other countries, they are they are immersion and action on our country. I will not make analysis. I do not have to have any position on that regard.
Mm-hmm. Last week, Republicans and Democrats here on Capitol Hill in the Senate are urging the United States to, with their allies, create safety zones within Syria for the fledgling Christian population and so many other minorities looking for a safe haven. Is that a good idea, one you support?
I'm afraid that it is not, because it will be a target and it will create new division in the country. What is the best would be to make all parties find and sit together and find a solution. You know, this kind of solution would push the war for years and years to continue in the future. We need an immediate solution. The preoccupation of our people and our preoccupation or our fears are the future. And to have some confidence in the future and to be tranquil that tomorrow will be better, we must go straight on to find a solution, not a provisory diminishing of what is happening.
Mm-hmm. Your Excellency, the big difficulty is how do you dialogue with people who are kidnapping, raping, selling women into sex slavery, attacking churches and your residents? How do you dialogue with people like this?
I'm afraid that these people are not Syrians. Syrian people wouldn't, any Syrian people, man or woman, any Muslim of Syria, wouldn't do what are doing ISIS. So we have not to dialogue with them. They are not of the country, they are foreigners. They have to go back to their countries to leave us, resolve our problems between ourselves, between our brothers, Syrian citizens, Muslim, Christians, Alawite, Durzi, all of them. We have not to dialogue with people who are not from this country and who do not know our language neither. I'm afraid they do not speak even Arabic. Many of them do not speak Arabic. They do not know what it is, what they are doing and what it is about.
Nonetheless, this is the source of so much of the conflict, and that's some are asking, where is the UN in all of this? That there, Angelina Jolie went before the UN this week and was urging it to use its security powers to do something in the region, to at least stop the hemorrhage of violence we're seeing all over the region. Would you support that? Do you think the UN's doing enough?
About the conflict
I agree that the UN is not doing enough. And UN should make pressure that this slaughtering and this violence may stop. How, I will not know. I cannot say how, but they can find a way. They can find numerous countries who would agree to cooperate to make an end to all what is happening.
Your Excellency, give us a sense of what it looks like from the ground. I mean, when you read these numbers, it is staggering. More than 200,000 Syrians killed in the last 4 years. Hundreds of Christians, 107 churches destroyed. There's not electricity in areas. There's difficulty finding water. What impact has this had on your people, and what are you asking for as far as relief and aid?
It is obvious that my people suffer a lot of that, and it makes my people despair, see that the future is very dark, and they are afraid of what will happen later. They suffer lack of electricity, of water, and destruction, and churches distracted, and people killed, innocent killed, kidnapped, other kidnapped, and as you said, 200,000 people killed, and this is terrible, and we feel miserable with all this.
What would you like people around the world to do in response?
I don't know what people around the world can do. It is up to the governments and up to the, you know, head of peoples to do. People could perhaps make pressure on their governments, of their presidents, or their decision maker to do something and to help reaching peace. Mm-hmm. They can do also help our people, help the needs of our people. Mm-hmm. You know, they can raise funds and help to feed people, to take care of the sick, and take care also of the pupils of schools, to help them to continue to study, to restore houses, demolished houses, and hospitals. Mm-hmm. Perhaps also people around the world and people of goodwill could do all these things, mm-hmm. making pressure on their governments to do something and helping, offering some, you know, money to help our people live and go out of its misery.
Archbishop Jeanbart, thank you so much for being here, and we will certainly encourage our viewers to help the people with aid, which is what they're in such need of at this moment. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
No, sir.
For more information on the plight of Christians in Syria and how you can help support the Archbishop's work, visit Aid to the Church in Need. Their website is churchinneed.org.